Sunny Hostin said some things last week that she probably should not have ever said. Now the Walt Disney Company is faced with major decisions they must make this week. Today we'll tell you what Sunny did and why it has few believing she's long for the world of ABC talk show daytime television.
Well, it's very clear that people will die. The baby boomers, the civil rights generation, they knew what they had to do. They were willing to fight and die for their rights.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the Pro Channel, where it is a sunny day every day, coming to you from somewhere sunny, USA. We're happy to have you, and we're happy to spend time with you. It is the honor of a lifetime. Folks, as we get ready to dive in, consider clicking the like button, and we will get underway, we hope, educatifying you and learning a little bit about how maybe we can make the world a better place and not say things that leave us in disgrace the way that Sunny Hostin has. All right, out of TV Insider, this is from Amanda Bell. And we're going to TV Insider because TV Insider is probably not a partisan place. So we're going to get something that is perhaps more secular and outside of the politicos. The article here says Sunny Hostin slams Democrats who censured, not censored, censured, that's different. It's a punitive act, although it's basically a slap on the wrist in Congress. Censured Al Green. Quote, they should be ashamed of themselves. Now, that's not what's going to get her in hot water. That's fine. She's allowed to have her own political opinion. In fact, people are allowed to have very divisive opinions and put those out there. People can say all sorts of terrible things. However, there are certain lines that if you cross them, that the Walt Disney Company that employs Sunny Hostin may have a very hard time defending and may have to sever ways. We'll see how that goes. It says the first two hot topics on Friday's new edition of The View brought out some serious fire from co-host Sunny Hostin. And that's why today we're watching to see what happens. Will we get another legal notice, folks? The subject of Representative Al Green's censure in Congress was the opener, and no one was more impassioned about it than Hostin. Moderator Joy Behar introduced the story with clips of Green interrupting Trump's address. Folks, we'll show that to you in just a moment. But I want to read the quote from Hostin. I want to separate it out from the video so that we get the quote. Just flat out the words. We're just going to read them. We're not going to emote. I'm not going to do any of no embellishing. Here it is. Hostin, who again is one might assume could be construed as a representative in some way of Disney because she is paid by Disney to be a commentator, to provide her views on The View, which we believe is under the umbrella of ABC News, a subsidiary of Disney. Here's what she said. They don't know how to fight and be part of an opposition party. Representative Green gave them the example. The Democrats are not meeting the moment. It's very clear Medicaid is on the table. It's very clear that Social Security is on the table. It's very clear that people will die. The baby boomers, the civil rights generation, they knew what they had to do. They were willing to fight and die for their rights. This generation of Congress, they are not meeting the moment. And also, I might point out, some of them are from the most liberal states like New York, Hawaii, California. They should be ashamed of themselves. Now, we're going to go to the clip in just a moment. We're going to play this. But as we do, folks, just want to remind you that for context, Representative Green was removed from not the State of the Union, the quasi-State of the Union, the joint session speech to both houses of Congress by President Trump last week. He was removed by the Sergeant of Arms because he refused to sit down. He refused to stop his protest. And so the speech could not continue forward because he was choosing to protest, and he was allowed to protest, which, by the way, is not part of the normal decorum. You all may recall, if you've been around for long enough, back when Barack Obama was president, when President Obama was giving, I think it was his first State of the Union, when he was giving his first State of the Union, it's my recollection that there was a representative that called out at one point and said, "You lie." That was considered at the time to be a huge ordeal. It was considered at the time to be such an act of disrespect and a breaking of decorum. Today, that would be not even part of a news article because that's how far politics has devolved. Now, you out there, you can claim that's the left, you can claim it's the right. All right, I'm not here to tell you what your politics should be. I trust that you are the kind of intelligent, high-quality individual that you can assess for yourself what your politics should be, what you believe in terms of the political parties. But I am here to tell you that the thermometer has been shifted dramatically, right? The thermostat has been changed and the temperature is rising to the point now that it's not that you would call out, "You lie," and that would be considered, just awful. Today, you can stand and you can protest and you can refuse to sit down to the point that you have to be escorted out of the chamber. And that will be heralded, that will be lauded by a Disney commentator. And of course, there's far more to this. Let's play the audio. I want you to hear it. I want you to see it. Here we go, folks. Here is Sunny Hostin, what she said on the...
But it didn't unite them all because 10 Democrats voted to censure Green.
Wow. Do you want a list of the 10?
Do you want to hear their names?
Yes, I do.
Yeah. Why go after them, too? Go after the Republicans.
You'll notice Joy actually gets nervous at that, right? The idea, and that's fine, right? You can call out the names, but she gets a little nervous about the idea. Oh, yeah, we're going to shame them. We're going to call their names out. We're going to draw... it's so funny to me. Anyway, Joy had I think Joy probably took the better tack there, but Sunny's all in. Sunny is all in. Sunny's ready to go.
Don't know how to fight and be part of an opposition party. Representative Green gave them the example. The Democrats are not meeting the moment. It is very clear that Medicaid is on the table. It is very clear that Social Security is on the table. It is very clear that people will die. The baby boomers, the civil rights generation, they knew what they had to do. They were willing to fight and die for their rights. This generation of Congress, they are not meeting the moment. This is
all right. Let's hold there. I want to explain why, because you could say to me, well, you could say, Pro, it's The View. They're crazy. They say crazy things all the time. Let me explain why this is a problem for Disney. You see, the FCC is a little bit different under the Trump administration. You might have heard of them, and they're not real thrilled with the way that things have been going with some of these networks. I think that's fair to say. Here's a network TV station. Well, it's many TV stations, part of the ABC network, and they're transmitting what Sunny is saying across the airwaves, all across the country, on the government's airwaves. The government allows them to use the airwaves. And by the government, I mean, it's yours, right? You the people. So your airwaves are used, and there are limited amounts of bandwidth and wavelengths and all of that. And so Disney is given a very special opportunity, along with the other networks, to use the particular set of waves that carry their message. And Sunny Hostin is using that, and then by proxy, I suppose, Disney, because, well, Disney is putting her up there and Disney's paying her to do this. Sunny is out there saying that there was a generation that was willing to fight and die, and she's suggesting that she's unhappy because this generation of politicians do not appear ready to fight and die. And Sunny is also saying that the reason that they should be ready to fight and die, quote, her comments, not mine, is because people are going to die. In fact, we'll play it again briefly so that you can now re-listen to this and hear and decide for yourself. Is Pro being going out there farther than he should? Is he making much to do about nothing, mountain out of a molehill, or is this what she's saying? If what she is saying, and perhaps because she's a lawyer, she knows not to say it explicitly, but if what she is insinuating, if what could be easily inferred from Sunny Hostin is that life is at stake, and therefore the stakes demand that life be put on the table, then you can understand why Disney might need to have something read today, at the very least. And perhaps more broadly, consider stepping away from Sunny Hostin, having her step away from The View. Let's play it one more time, folks. I want you to hear it. We'll play it all the way through the end this time. But, this is very disappointing to me because it was not so long ago that we saw what happened in Pennsylvania. Remember the ear? Remember millimeters away from national tragedy? Sunny Hostin is a rabble-rouser who I believe is amplifying the voices and the actions that would do harm. And I think that's unwise, to say the least. I think that it's dangerous. I think Disney should reconsider. I think the government might likely get involved if Disney doesn't. I don't have any kind of insider information regarding that. But it's a hunch of mine that Disney's in a bunch of trouble and they need to make a decision this week. Here's more of it.
Not meeting the moment. It is very clear that Medicaid is on the table. It is very clear that Social Security is on the table. It is very clear that people will die. The baby boomers, the civil rights generation, they knew what they had to do. They were willing to fight and die for their rights. This generation of Congress, they are not meeting the moment. This is an existential crisis.
And also, I might point out, some of them are from the most liberal states like New York, Hawaii, California.
They should be ashamed of themselves.
Okay,
They should have all walked out with him.
All right, and Newsbusters carrying that. So one part that I had not talked about that's in that last clip we listened to is Sonny saying it's an existential threat. What is the existential threat, folks? One might, I think, infer from what she's saying that she's referring to her political opponents. I don't want to put words in her mouth. I'm not attempting to do so. I'm attempting to extrapolate what it is she's trying to communicate. If Sonny Hostin is saying that the existential threat is coming from her political opponents, then one might assume that when she is calling for a generation of politicians at least to rise up and be willing to fight and die, that they would be willing to fight and die against the existential threat. This is why Sonny Hostin does not have the maturity, in my estimation, the gravitas, or the inner, what should we say here? Sonny Hostin lacks the adult maturity necessary for the pedestal in which she has been placed by the Walt Disney Company. And that has been demonstrated repeatedly over and over and over. I think Disney's in very hot water the longer that she gets to spout these kinds of things. There is, to some degree, a need to temper in order to remove the temperature of the room when we have just seen what can happen and we don't want to go back to that again. Decorum, civility, and kindness when possible would be a nice thing, but I don't sense that that is what Disney is promoting via The View during daytime talk TV show. I don't want to call it entertainment, but propaganda on ABC. Again, a news and entertainment network carried all across the American people's airwaves. All right, folks, you can help wave this video on to greater and greater success by clicking the like button, share, subscribe, click it, stick it to the algorithms. It is the notification bell. Drop a comment down below, let us know your thoughts, and share with us what you think about the things Sonny is saying. And perhaps even share with us, folks, how can we make the world a better place? How can we improve this? How can we perhaps get back to a place where people are kind if it's possible? We hope it is. We wish it would be. There was a time, the 80s were great. It's not too late to go right on back. All right, folks, until the next time we have the joy of spending time with you and being invited in your day, keep learning, keep growing, and as always, keep having fun.
Wilton, what are you doing?
Well, word on the street is the culture war has officially made it to the doorstep of that Park Place. And I realized Jonas has no one there who loves him. So I thought I should go and protect them.
Yeah, okay. You know, that's not, how you do this, right?
Do what? Fight? Don't worry, Floral. I will not be intimidated by a criminal threat.
Threat? Wilton, don't be ridiculous.
What does it matter to me? I have only one life to lose.
I mean, I totally expected you to die walking into traffic, but,
They may take our lives, but they'll never take our freedom!
Okay, just stop. This is just nonsense. You already have one of the easiest and most effective tools and weapons at your fingertips.
My axe?
No. The truth. Stay smart and ready to tell and share the truth by keeping up to date with WDW Pro, That Park Place, as well as Valiant Renegade.
And Jonas? I mean, He does things with Vash, and that's not very reassuring. That's like putting two helpless chipmunks into a piranha pond.
That's neither true nor accurate. Unlike the team from that park place.
Sue me.
Ugh.